I'm Luann Sims, and welcome to Life After Baby on 1520 AM WCHE and streaming live on WCHE1520.com. From bottles to books, spit up to social media, diapers to dorms, and everything in between, each week I interview local parenting experts. Today's guest is Dréa. Dréa Moore is a taste-making artist and owner of a Lancaster, PA gallery, the Artist Studio and Gallery at Annex 24. Specializing in innovative exhibitions and art-centric events, Annex has become a barometer for cool new works in the Lancaster art scene. Dréa is a contributor also to the Chesco Moms Play Date and Meetup Facebook groups, and that's what we'll be talking about today on Life After Baby. So thank you for coming in, Dréa.
Thank you for having me.
And you are a parent as well. You have one daughter?
I do. Her name is Oli, and she is 3 years old.
And she's 3, so that is a fun age, if I recall.
It is. She's also a leap day baby.
Oh.
So it was just us and like 2 other people in Chester County having babies.
Excellent.
Where our children only get a birthday every 4 years.
So I have to ask right off the bat, how do you handle that?
So we do cake on the, like, the 28th, and then on the 1st we'll do like a present. So she gets like both of those.
Kinda
and then we've
tuba.
decided on her actual numerical birthday, when she gets one every 4 years, we do big.
You go all
We're
out.
going to go big. So next year she'll be 4. 1. We're going to take her to Disney.
Oh,
A lot of people say, don't take her to Disney, but I want to go to Disney, and I really want to go to Universal for the new Harry Potter.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
I want to go for that.
And I think it's
yeah.
a great age because it's still so magical to them when they're that young.
I'm taking her to the Bippity Boppity Boutique.
Yeah.
More than anything else in the whole world. I want to see her in a dress with the sparkles.
The glitter, yes. Excellent. So were you hoping for a leap day baby, or were you hoping you wouldn't have a leap day baby?
I was due February 27th. It was a hilarious, cheap growing up with a single mom joke that I said to people. I was like, oh my God, if she's born on leap day, I'm going to save so much money on birthday parties. Not true.
No.
Not true.
No,
because now we got to do it
Disney
twice.
every 4 years.
Yeah, and we got to give her a big birthday. She doesn't know yet that she doesn't have an actual numerical calendar birthday every year yet.
Right.
She just we're trying to get her to know basics about herself.
Sure.
She still calls herself 2, but she puts up 3 fingers.
Right.
So, we're working on
They're
it.
very entertaining at that age. But that'll be something unique about her. I mean, there are very few people that can say they have the leap day birthday. So I think that's something unique and
Fun
special.
fact, my husband's grandmother, that's her birthday.
Really?
Yes, and I didn't send her a present that year because I was supposed to send it. And I didn't get a chance to overnight it because I went into labor.
Well, you're having a baby.
So I gave her a baby for her birthday.
Baby on her birthday.
And it saved me like $50.
There is no greater gift. There's no greater gift. That is awesome. Before we start talking about play groups and things like that, tell us about your business. Tell us about Annex 24 and the kinds of things that you do for parents and kids there that people might be interested in.
So we took over this existing business where both my mom and I were partners in a business. We were there as artists previously since like 2011. My background, I'm a chemist. I worked in pharmaceuticals. I had my daughter in February, and it was super hard. I thought I was going to be one of those moms, like, I'm going to go back to work and I'm going to do whatever. And I was doing fine for a while when I went back in May. But then she started walking without me. She started rolling over without me. And I didn't know that I could be emotional that way.
Yeah.
Where I could be someone that was like, oh my goodness, I'm missing all these milestones. I was kind of thinking, look, my mom and my mother-in-law are taking care of the baby. Someone that loves her is taking care of her.
Right.
But so I left my job that I'd been there for a very long time, making really awesome money. I left that, and then I had this opportunity came up at the exact same time. So that was December 2016.
Okay.
So from February to December, I made this like super life-changing decision. I learned a lot of stuff about myself during that period. And I was like, wow, okay, so like I know I had a baby and everything, but like I'm like a legit mom now.
You're right.
It was so strange.
So
we took over the gallery, we did a little name changing, and then we just wanted like to vibe it the way we wanted to. We wanted it to be very open, very accepting. We also wanted the art gallery to fight against some of the stereotypes that you get in an art gallery, that art galleries have to be only for people in this economic bracket. They only are for people that look this way or behave this way or talk this way. We wanted that vibe done.
So it's a very inclusive
Extremely.
atmosphere.
We
Excellent.
made sure my personal goal out the gate was to bring in brand new artists, new to the area, both conservative and not conservative, because Lancaster County is a very conservative county, but Lancaster City isn't.
Right.
I describe Lancaster City like Austin. Austin is a very blue city in a very red state, and I think that's kind of that same vibe.
Okay,
so I
so
brought
you
in
mix
different
of-
artists of different nationalities, backgrounds, able-bodied, not as much as we possibly could. We
Excellent.
try to go super diverse.
And how can people get their kids exposed to that atmosphere? You have paint nights and things that they can come
We
participate in?
we do a Harry Potter event. It's a Harry Potter inspired event in October.
I feel like you might be behind this.
Okay, so I love Harry Potter so much. It's my everything. My daughter's nursery was Harry Potter themed.
I'm surprised she's not named Hermione.
You know what? We talked about some names. We did.
Did you
we
think
talked
about Hermione?
I love Hermione. Actually, there's a lot of famous British actresses, and their names are Hermione, and I'm an Anglophile. So, yeah, I love Harry Potter. But we did this event because we like the kids to learn. I just really love Harry Potter, and I wanted everyone to read the books. So we do this usually in early October. So if you go to our Facebook page at the Artist Studio and Gallery at Annex 24 or Annex 24, either one is fine. And we're on all the social media channels. We always promote our Harry Potter event. It's Harry Potter inspired.
Excellent.
It's typically, we call it Wizarding Weekend. So I'm working on the plans for it now.
Oh, cool. And what ages is that for?
It's for all ages. So last year, we have a customer who comes in. He's the sweetest guy. I got this creepy phone call that was like, Dumbledore is coming to your event. And I was like, what are you saying? First of all, who is this? Why are you calling me? That's weird. But it was this really great customer. It was a creepy call. I would totally put it up on social media. Everybody was vibing with it and laughing. He showed up dressed like Dumbledore. Hardcore. I mean, beard,
Did
everything.
he look like him?
Yes. He had the hat that talked. So he started sorting people. And he wasn't part of the event. He was just showing up like a cosplayer. He got stuck there for 2 hours. I had to get him a chair. I had to get chairs for the people so that he could sort them into the houses. It was, an 8-hour event. It was only supposed to be 4 hours. It was an 8-hour event. People were having a great time. They were drinking butterbeer. We had a lot of local business contributors came through with us, and they were super sweet. Like, there was a new company that opened up called Dough & Co., and they did a butterbeer flavored cookie dough, the edible cookie doughs. It was so great.
So it sounds like you've got some. We could probably have you back for a full episode on Harry Potter. We might have to do that. But
And you would be exhausted, but yeah.
So great, some great family events at Annex
Absolutely.
24. But the reason we have you here today is because you are also a contributor to the Chesco Moms group and meetup group on Facebook and on Meetup, correct?
Yes. So it's Chesco Moms Play Date / Meetup group.
Okay.
And that's a Facebook group that was started by Dee Dungan. She is just a local mom, and she wanted a place to talk about play dates and meetups. There are lots of little groups where moms kind of offer advice to each other. This is a little bit more about getting together and going somewhere, having a conversation, or, hey, does anyone want to come over to my house on this day? Does anyone want to come over and meet at Chick-fil-A in Downingtown and, the Splash Pad? And it's been really good. I'm an extrovert introvert. I'm really weird in big crowds. So it was been really good for me.
So the page on Facebook is really designed to facilitate in-person connections and getting together, parents and kids.
Exactly.
And why is that so important for, you've been a mother for 3 years now, right? Almost 4, right?
Yes.
So 3.5. So why is it so important to have play groups or play dates set up?
I think being a first-time mom or even a mom of multiples can be a little isolating, especially if you become a stay-at-home mom. And my intention was to never stay at home. I was like, no, I'm going to go and be the VP of whatever, and I'm going to totally do it, and it's fine. I'll be 35 by the time I'm VP, which I didn't make. Missed it by a couple years, but that's okay. But I think you need a little bit of community. You need to really connect with someone else, because it can be very isolating. That's one of the reasons why I reached out to a neighbor friend of mine, Leslie. So I said, hey, now you just had a baby girl. Like,
Right,
you should probably come. And Because it can feel isolating with this newborn who doesn't talk to you.
Absolutely.
They only need one. And there's only but so much TV you can have on in the background. My TV of choice was HD TV, but that really cost us a lot of money to have HD TV as my friend.
That's right.
I was like, I need a new bathroom.
Yes.
We need new carpets.
It makes you want to remodel everything.
It does. Is that, you know what? You got to get away from it.
But I agree with you. When I had my daughter, I joined a group. We had a group at my church called Mom's Morning Out where we would get together. And it definitely helped just to have other people to vent to, people that either were going through the same thing or had gone through the same thing, or to get your kids together to socialize and just make sure you're not stuck in your house.
Exactly.
So if someone is feeling the need to get involved in something like this, or maybe they haven't considered it and they'd like to try it, how do they get started? They go on the Facebook page, and can people just see an event and show up, or how does it work?
Well, typically you join the group. It's not like you have to. It's a Facebook group. You don't pay anything, but you might have to answer a couple little security questions. I was like the third or fourth person that joined the group, and it's like 280 people or something so far, and it's only a couple of weeks, I think, maybe 2 months or so old.
Oh, okay. So this is fairly new.
Fairly new. I have kind of perused some of the other parenting groups. It gets a little preachy sometimes, and that's not really my vibe. Like, I have no problem with people saying whatever they want to say, but I don't always want to, like, interact in that space. But I do always want to interact in this space.
Okay.
The moms will introduce themselves and say, hi, I'm such and such, and I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old. Does anyone with kids in that age range want to get together and go to Bell Tavern Park in Downingtown, which I actually discovered places to take my daughter through this group.
Right, because people take you to these places and they've had experience there. They know how it works. They know what to bring. They know
bring this, bring that. I know I had to learn to bring a bucket to a splash park park because my daughter she was a klepto. She was stealing everybody's stuff, and I was like, that is not your bucket.
Right.
Oh, it's mine. It's mine. She doesn't even want it. I was like, how do you know? What's her name? So it's been interesting. It's been very interesting.
So people will just throw out a play date at a time and a place, and if you would like to go, you can just show up at that place?
Yeah. And people respond. They go back and forth. So I set a play date that's coming up in September. It's a dress-up play date. So I said, break out the costumes from your dress-up box and let your kiddos come out and play.
Oh, fun.
So that'll be at a park, local park, and then we'll just go crazy and let the kids run around and lose their absolute minds in their cute little dress-up clothes. So if you go to the events tab, you can create an event. That's the one good thing that I really want to tout about this particular group is that anyone can create an event. Okay. So many people want to, like, control their group and make it like, a little mini dictatorship. Like, that's not my vibe either. But anyone can create a date. So the one that we have coming up is on September 10th. It's called Dress Up Box Playdate at the Park. So far, it looks like we have like 10 people going. And it'll be at Marshall Square Park because I set it up and I live a mile and a half from Marshall Square Park. Go. That's why I was like, great. Okay, I'm going to walk. I'll see you in a mile and a half away from here. So that'll be fun. And that's from 10 to 12.
10 to 12. Okay, so for that play date where you have kids who are dressing up in costumes, it might be easy to get there and recognize that these are people from the Facebook group having the play date. But what about a regular park? If you go to Bell Tavern Park or another park, how do you identify who the people are from the play group on Facebook? Do you just start going up to people and saying, are you from Chesco Moms?
Sometimes. A lot of times you'll kind of recognize people from their pictures.
Oh, right. Okay.
So everyone has their picture. My picture is a picture of me and my daughter at the beach eating ice cream. So, and that's what I noticed. Sometimes you can say, hey, we're meeting at 11. Hey, let's all meet up under this particular tree and just say hi to each other and then let the kids go crazy.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of do I think there's a little bit. Each person, their play date, it's so open that you can do really whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. So I set up one that was a splash day at Bell Tavern Park. It was like the hottest day in July. I also learned bring splash shoes for your children that day.
Yes.
And I was thinking splash pad, like it's just, I didn't know what it was looking like, and I'm thinking it's went everywhere. But I'm like, oh, that's hot concrete.
Right.
Okay, well, wear your sneakers. We'll dry them later.
Right.
So the moms, we all met under a tree, said hi to each other. We hung out, let our kids play. This mom in particular, she was the one that I probably talked to the most. She was a teacher returning to school, and she was kind of telling me about the difficulties of returning to school and sending the kids to daycare. Yeah. And I said, I know that game. I have done that before. I was like, granted, my daughter's never been to daycare. She's been with my mother, my in-laws, my aunts, my cousins. She's never been to daycare. Just last year, at the end of 2017, we did her first, school, in quotes.
Right.
We went through, the YMCA has, a preschool toddler program. She did that. It was 2 days a week, and it was great. I love my Y. I love them so much. They know her. They know her name. They say it right because she has a weird name. It's spelled Uli, and everyone will call her Uli or Yuli or, so they know.
And how do you say it?
It's Uli.
Uli.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually, I gave her the nickname of the full German name because I actually thought it would be harder to pronounce the full German name. My husband is German.
Okay. And what's the full German name?
Ulrika.
Okay, Ulrika.
But not everyone can pronounce it. So I thought, oh my God, Uli, that's super
that's
cute.
Easy. Right.
And no one pronounced it, not even our family. So, yeah.
But you're right. The Y does have great resources. On that note, we're going to have to take a break and hear from our sponsors for a few minutes. But this is Life After Baby on WCHE 1520. Welcome back to Life After Baby. I'm Lou Ann Sims. I'm here with Dréa today, and we are talking about play groups and getting together with other parents and the support and the fun that you can get from doing that. Before we get back to our conversation, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor, A Taste of Olive. They have 2 locations, one in Chestnut Hill and one here in Westchester Borough. They feature high-quality balsamics and olive oils from around the world. You can order online at atasteofolive.com, and you can use the coupon code FAMILY to receive 10% off your online order at atasteofolive.com. So a big thank you to them. And we were just talking with Dréa about finding a play group online, going to a park or someone's house and meeting up for the first time, and how people can connect that way. And it sounds like it's just as beneficial to you, the parent, as it is for the kids to have the socialization. So you're connecting with other people, either getting advice or giving advice to people that are going through something maybe that you just went through, and you're getting a lot out of that, it sounds like.
Absolutely. One of the play dates that recently passed was actually a book swap and play date.
Oh.
So the moms got to benefit by swapping books. Also, cost beneficial because you're swapping books. And then the kids get to play. So moms get to community with each other while the children get to play with each other and have a good time. I think it's really smart. I think for some moms who might be experiencing postpartum depression, which I had super bad, and then that led to just regular depression, I think it's very beneficial if someone else is going through the same thing. Our moms that love us and take care of us are great. They also, were parents 20, 30 years ago. Things are a little bit different and their advice is a little different. So I think your peers can they can really offer you some support that I don't know if you can always get in the places you expect to get that support.
Absolutely. And I think as simple as just finding out you're not the only one. You're not the only one struggling. You're not the only one who can't get their baby to sleep. You're not the only one who's worried about bonding or whatever it might be. Just having general conversations about that really, really helps you to cope because, as we know, parenting is a big deal.
I found a lot of solace in some of the articles that I read. I had a almost crippling rage. I was angry at everything. And I wasn't angry at my baby. I was just angry all the time about everything. My poor husband was the brunt. He got a lot of it. But I didn't know why I was angry. And I wasn't able to stop it. So I came across an article. I was reading it. Like I said, I'm a chemist, so I did my due diligence. It's a real article. It actually has real science behind it. I felt good about that. And that's another piece of postpartum that people don't talk about. And I was like, okay, so people they're being too polite. they're not talking about the scary stuff. Like one of the moments I remember that went viral was there was like a young mom, and she took a picture of her body after she had just had her baby, just a couple of hours, and she had those giant cotton briefs.
The big underwear?
With the big, sanitary pads and things on it. And I said, oh my God, I thought that was just for me.
Right.
It was really, that helped me. And that was the first thing. So then I started looking for sources to kind of help me be like, okay, this is not your fault. Like, this is super normal. Yeah, your mom had you in the 80s. The whole vibe is slightly different. I mean, some things are the same, some things are different. So I was trying to connect with the advice that I was getting from, the mom rock stars in my life, and then also from the mom peers. And that was really helpful for me. That's what brought me to trying to find mom groups. I used to go to a play group at my lactation consultant's office. And then she did away with her office, so I no longer.
So you had a void that you needed to fill.
And I needed to fill it because I didn't have a place to take my kid, and really just even though I didn't interact a lot, it was nice to just be there. And those moms in that group, they were very understanding with the fact that maybe I didn't want to talk a lot too. That's helpful because sometimes people get mad at you for not interacting the exact same way.
Right, if you're not fully participating the way they might. Or
yeah, sometimes you just like your children, you're very thoughtful and careful about the way your children interact with other children. Why can't you have the same patience for a mom that's kind of trying to find her way as well?
What I think is nice about these play groups online is you could go to a few or several, and chances are you might not hit it off with everybody or find that you're on the same wavelength as everybody, but you'll probably find one or two people that you really connect with, where you really can help each other and find the support that you're looking for.
Absolutely. I think everyone needs community in different aspects of their life. If you're a mom, if you're a new mom, you definitely need community there. I think once your kid starts entering these different stages, or if you're a mom to just one kid, so I have one kid, I don't know what to expect with these stages coming up.
Right. Right.
So,
but when you have others leading the way,
exactly, that's been really helpful.
So what about some practical things when we look at getting together for a play date? Is there a certain play date etiquette? Are there certain rules to be followed, or anything that surprised you when you started attending?
I think as far as etiquette, I haven't hosted a play date out at my house. I live in a very lovely, tiny row home in the borough. So I can fit about 3 kids in my house, right. Maybe 5 if I'm working really hard. Okay. And whenever I host anything at my house, I provide all meals, all drinks. I ask people ahead of time about allergies. Allergies are real and important. I didn't grow up with the conversation about allergies, so trying to be more aware of that and how it affects people, and try not to do the old people poo-poo about allergies thing.
Yes, that's very important.
Yeah, people are like, oh, my kids are allergic to pollen and tree nuts. Like, okay, they're allergic to that. You can't think that that's fake.
No,
because you kind of get that sometimes where people are like, okay, sure.
That's very true, and I think there is sometimes a generational difference, not always, but you definitely need people to understand that it could be a life-threatening situation and it needs to be taken very seriously. And
I don't mind making those accommodations in my home. So, like, I've been places where people are mad about making those accommodations, so I don't want to stay there very long. I always leave.
Yeah.
They're like, well, this play date, we're eating peanut butter, so if you're allergic to peanut butter, don't come. I was like, oh, okay. That wasn't in this group. That was another group. That's why I left that kind of
and I can tell you, I have my kids do not have food allergies, but I have some very good friends whose kids do, and it is so greatly appreciated when people take that into consideration and have accommodations for them and find ways to keep their kids safe. It means the world to them, because it's a very scary thing when you have to worry about that among all the other parenting things that you have to worry about.
Yeah. I have a niece that's a vegan, so I already know how to prepare those foods. I have another really close friend that is, oh my goodness, she's like a non-dairy, non-tree, non-something. So I get a list from her ahead of time and I make those things, and I just try to be as accommodating as possible.
You're a good person to do that. Now, what about, have you had, back when my kids were attending play groups and larger play dates, every now and then you'd have a situation where there'd be one child who was a little bit too out of control, maybe hitting other children or really misbehaving in a way that was impacting the group as a whole. Have you ever had that kind of situation, and do you have any tips for dealing with that? Because it can be a little bit awkward with other parents sometimes.
I have seen that. I'm by no means am I an expert. I think if we're in a village, I think you can say, okay, sweetheart, I need you to calm down a little bit right now. If the kid doesn't listen to you, have a conversation with the kid's mom. If we can't get that kid under control, and I can see that it's affecting my child in particular, I actually will just exit from that situation because I don't want that behavior to trigger like crazy baby behavior in a car.
Right.
I don't want that.
Right.
So I'll actually remove
from
myself.
One another and learning what's acceptable and what's not from what they see. So I think it's important to address things like that. Now, what about people who have infants? Are there play groups for people that have babies that really aren't truly old enough to necessarily play together yet, but you can still get together and meet other moms and get the babies together?
Yes, there are like infant specific ones. Sometimes the mom of an infant will only want to be around other moms of infants, and that's fine. This particular play group that we're talking about, this is for all children. So moms can bring their infants, they can bring their newborns. Feel free, come hang out. This isn't always about just letting the kids play. Sometimes you're holding your infant and you're talking to another mom and you're getting a chance to kind of see this next stage that's coming.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really helpful.
And you need another mom just to turn to you and say, it's going to get better, or it's going to get easier, or you're going to get used to it, or I had that and I got through it.
Or maybe if you're comfortable, maybe you'll let another mom hold your kid for you so you can get a minute without a baby in your arms. Because one thing I found was, it's like, oh, so I just hold this baby for like 16 hours a day. Right. Like my daughter, when I was sleeping, when she was a newborn to when she was about 6 months, only wanted to sleep on me physically.
Right.
And that took a toll on me, both physically and emotionally. I was tired of being this like platform, and it felt it's like a succubus. I'm thinking mythological here, but it was just so much. You just, not only do you need to actually nurse and feed, but you need to kind of feed off like warm mommy vibes too. And it was exhausting. I could not sleep for months.
You give so much of yourself, your emotional self and your physical self.
Yeah,
absolutely. We are running a little short on time, but before we go, I want to make sure we get to our It Takes a Village segment. So we don't always have all the answers, and that's why we need to help each other out. So we talked with some local parents about their favorite local play date spots. You mentioned a couple, and I'm interested in hearing some more of yours, but some that were mentioned from the people we talked to were Marsh Creek Park.
I just discovered Marsh Creek.
Did you just discover Marsh Creek?
It was in the same play group. They were talking about Marsh Creek Park, and I was like, okay, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And I've lived in Chester County for 7 years, so I did not know what it was. One day, my husband had off from work. It was like a Thursday. It was like a boring day, and there was nothing going on. I was like, hey, let's go see what this park is. What are these people talking about? So I went over, and it was so dope. It was like this lake or something. I'm like, there's a lake here? Does it have a name? Like, what is happening? It was gorgeous. They had the snack bar, and there were so many kids having fun. It reminded me of growing up and playing in, like, the creeks. And I grew up out in Philly, so it was called a crick, depending on where you're from.
Right.
I, of course, never used that. My mom didn't allow crick in the house.
I called it a crick when I was a kid also. I did. In fact, yes, I was just talking with someone about that this morning. I never heard of a creek until I was about 6 years old.
Yep.
I thought it was a crick.
It was a crick, but I love that park. And they have a pool there. The pool is really, it has like all the little, gadgets where the water comes out the top, and really, really nice, and snack bars and lots of parking. Thank God for lots of parking. And then it looks out on this really pretty lake. I thought it was super dope. I loved going there. I want to go and have a good time. I'm going to take my nephew to do the stand-up paddle boarding.
Yeah,
thing.
you can rent kayaks and canoes there. And what are some other of your favorite spots? Have you been to any of the orchards? I know there are a number in the area. Highland Orchard.
We go to Highland Orchard like too much. They owe me money, I think, because I have spent checks there. But they have animals or aminals, according to my daughter.
They have those cider donuts.
They do the cider, and then they do the different events. I like an event for multiple people in the family. I have my niece and my nephew on the weekends. My mother and I own a business. She has my niece and my nephew living with her, so this is a village raising people. Awesome. So they're with me on the weekend while my mom works at the shop, and, we switch off. So going to Highland when they have their food trucks and their pop-ups, and that's super cool. I love Linvilla Orchards. That's another one. That's in Delaware County. Not all moms want to trek different places, but I want my daughter to vibe in different places. I want her to get comfortable with different people, different faces, different accents everywhere. And I say that because Delaware County has a legit different accent.
That's very true.
So I love Linvilla.
Have you been to Longwood Gardens yet with your daughter?
I have not. Because Longwood Gardens is $25 to go in.
It is, but I'll tell you, when my kids were young, I used to get a season pass, and your daughter's probably at a very good age. They have outdoor and indoor water features and things that they just love that they can play in.
I've heard people say that. I just haven't done it yet because that $25, $50 for a Tuesday feels like a lot.
I agree. I agree, and I'm sure a lot of parents listening would agree with you. I think if you're going to do it, the way to go is the season pass and make multiple use out of it. They have a fountain show that's fantastic and a lot of other benefits to being a member. But it's a great, especially if you want to be outdoors, but have the option to go inside if it's a little bit hot.
Yeah.
They have an indoor thing where kids can dip paintbrushes in water and paint the inside of this.
I just saw that video, so I think I'll do it. I just haven't yet.
Yeah, you'll get there. Your daughter, like I said, your daughter's probably just tall enough to get to some of those great things.
Hopefully.
Well, that, and there are many, many other, of course, parks and wonderful options for play dates, but unfortunately we are out of time for today. Thank you for tuning in to Life After Baby. Life After Baby was created by Leslie Hudson, hosted by Lou Ann Sims, and produced by Kyle Hudson. We'd like to thank Dréa for joining us today, and check out her website at annex24gallery.com or on social media, annex24_gallery. That's on Instagram, for a look at what's new and what's coming up next. And when the kids are finally asleep, visit our website at lifeafterbabyshow.com. Find our podcast wherever the finest podcasts are found, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Life After Baby Show. And don't forget to take care of yourself so you can take better care of them.